Bow chicka wow wow. All right, so thank you for joining me in today's real estate investing live with Victor Bell. So this is the first episode. This is one of the things that I'm going to be doing all year for you guys who are interested and you guys love real estate investing. You want to get started real estate investing. This is about investing money, whether you're finding a deal, trying to buy your own deals, you want to invest with us, whatever that is. I'm going to share with you my knowledge based on my experience. So first thing about me, I've been investing in multifamily real estate for 20 years, since 1998. I've bought over $59 million worth of I've done $59 million worth of real estate transactions. Best-selling author. I have a real estate book. I have a book on cash flow. I have all of those things. But the reason why that's important to you is because I want to show you what I do, how I do it, and if that helps you, great. You want to invest with us, great. If you want to do this on your own, great. I'm here to help you either way. So we started a real estate fund, Bell Capital. I started it, and my goal was to actually help more people get invested in institutional quality multifamily real estate. Multifamily real estate is the game changer, which brings me to today's show. So what are we going to talk about? Question, because why multifamily real estate's better than a house. I get a lot of investors ask me that. As a matter of fact, I was at an event last night. I was one of the experts on a panel at an experts lounge at a real estate group, a real estate association, all for real estate investors. Everybody there were real estate investors. They were business owners, entrepreneurs, but everybody there ultimately were in real estate or wanted to be. So the number one question we get asked is like, I'm going to buy a house. Why not just invest in a house? Why not do that? Now, I've done those things, but it was a business for me. I didn't live there. So I want to start off first, why multifamily? Because I say real estate, but real estate's a big topic. I had somebody reaching out, had a question. So here we go, multifamily. Can you guys see that? It's kind of dark, right? It's weird. All right, there we go. I'm going to bring this closer. Let's see what side do I want to be on. There we go. So you guys can see that because this is live. It is live. So you get what you get. But I want to do this, and I'm going to keep doing these, and I'm going to kind of go back to my studio here sooner. But I don't go to my studio, so you guys know. I was a professional MMA fighter. I got beat up a lot, too, and just a part of the sport. And I had eye damage in this eye. So I can barely see out of this eye. If I hold my eye down, man, I can't even read what's on the screen. So that's why I don't do that too far away in my studio. If I'm doing studio work, trust me, I'm working through something, right? So a lot of my stuff I push. So why multifamily? Why multifamily? Why multifamily? Boom. Versus a house, especially when we're talking about real estate, because there's a lot of things you can invest in. When we talk about investing money into real estate, why I love this multifamily real estate as an asset. So here's some of the things. You can invest in stuff like retail. A little while ago, retail wasn't doing so good, but retail's kind of weathered the storm that everybody didn't think they were going to weather. There's a lot of vacant space. You can invest in office real estate. You know, if you've been watching everything that's went on, when you see a lot of stuff on CNBC in the news, when they talk about a lot of real estate getting foreclosed on and being given back to banks, a lot of that was office space, right? Because if you guys don't know this, you'll hear about it later. I'll talk about it. I'll actually do a show on it. In the real estate cycle of any real estate cycle over the last 40, 50 years, office real estate has always lagged the market. It's the first to go, and it's the last to come back. All right, so then like we said, we have multifamily real estate, which is the belle of the ball. Everybody loves multifamily. I'll tell you guys why in a second. Then you have like your agricultural or your land. You got raw land, right? So that's another thing. A lot of people look, that's an option for some people. You guys are going to watch like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and them talking about buying this agricultural farmland and all that stuff. But I can tell you, man, unless you're sitting on a couple of $1 billion, agricultural farmland, and you want to do all that stuff, man, go for it. But that's not the best investment for your money as you're starting to look at stuff. What was the other thing? You got hotels, which falls along the lines with hospitality. That's another way to kind of look at those, as it relates to real estate. There's a bunch of different categories. Then you have your single family houses. You know, you even have mansions, right? Some people like mansions. They want to do that stuff. But let me tell you, this one right here is the focus. Why I like multifamily real estate. I'm going to go over a couple of things with you and think about that. Let's say you have $1 million sitting in your retirement account, or you got $1 million sitting in a cash account or a money market account. You're like, dude, I got to do something. All right. When you look at all of these things, you got retail has its pluses and minuses, right? Like there's a place and a time for retail, right? If you look at a lot of shopping centers, they're full right now, but ultimately you got Amazon. People order stuff online now. It's changing. Things have changed, and AI is going to change a lot of stuff as well, right? Office just took a beating because nobody wanted to go back to work after COVID, and nobody was forced to do that. So naturally, there's a lot of office space. Not only that, when things came out where the government was kind of giving people these benefits to be able to do like the ESG stuff, giving investors and these bigger companies more money, man, they were incentivized to do that. Some of these old office buildings that can't, they can't maintain the electric, the power, the Wi-Fi stuff to be able to do all the stuff needed in an office for an office to be able to work well. The systems in place, the ACs, all that stuff, they needed an overhaul, right? That stuff took a beating. Older stuff take a beating. Newer stuff is great. Everyone's like, oh, maybe you can convert office to multifamily. The cost to do an office conversion into multifamily is nuts. Just the way the configuration of those buildings, the way the buildings are built with the elevators, the office space around it that would need to be, like your whole infrastructure would have to be knocked out. So a lot of people talk about that, but it's just not the best use of your money if you're going to invest. So agricultural land, like I said, cows, farms, sheep, it's needed. You can, corn, all that stuff. Some people are now using your raw land to do like these solar power farms and all that other stuff. It's great, but when you're a regular person, that's not the best use of where your money is. And I'm going somewhere with this. So I said all that to say, this one is a lot of times where people are like, oh, why don't I just buy a house? Dude, if you buy a house, that's not investing. That's a liability, right? Your house keeps you stuck where you are. It doesn't move you forward. You have to pay for it, right? It's not an investment. Like I say that all the time. Like that's not the best investment. But let's talk about multifamily. Stick with me here, guys. So, multifamily. Why I think multifamily, personally, is the best asset class. Is the best. The best than all those other ones right away. So, number one, if you're going to get super wealthy. I was going to write rich. Super wealthy. Multifamily real estate is the way to go. It is the way to go. And there's a reason why. Like I said, number one, because it's very simple. It's a simple asset class. It's simple to understand. Right? Why is it simple to understand? Because people will always need housing. They will always need a place to go. You cannot live inside your phone. It is impossible to do that. It cannot be taken away. It cannot be disrupted. Anything like that. The only thing that'll happen to disrupt multifamily is it'll be able to be built faster. That's it. It ain't going nowhere. We as human beings need it. So when you think through that thought process, it's like, look, if you're going to get super wealthy, you need to invest in something that can't go away. It cannot be taken from anybody. And it's simple to understand as an investment vehicle where you're going to put your money, right? Number two, here's why this is important. I'm going to try to do this here, but I'm probably going to flip the page, so bear with me, especially if I go too fast. For you guys watching this later on a replay, feel free to put the comments there. I always read the comments. This is a live show. Later, we'll have a way for people to call in, but I wanted to do this, and I'll keep this short. So number one, if you take a look at there's 300 million plus people in the U.S., right? That's how many people live in the U.S. That are in the U.S., the population of the U.S. Now, on the average, and you can Google this too, about 80 million, there's 80 million baby boomers right now in the U.S., and this is a population thing, right? There's about 76 million millennials, right? And all of these people right now, if you think about it, they are actually the people that are focused on multifamily properties. Here's why, right? Because they're all becoming renters. This will become a renter nation. The United States will. If you take a look at everything going on in the world right now, the election, COVID that happened, printing more money, inflation, the banks crashing, everything. Dude, people in this category our moms and dads and our grandparents and things like that are now like, look, I don't want a house. I want to travel. I don't want to deal with the yard. I don't want to deal with the roof. I don't want to deal with insurances going up. That's another thing. All of those things are happening. So a lot of them are selling their properties and they're going to travel. They're on cruises. They're cruising around. They're spending time with their grandkids. They don't want the headaches anymore. That's old. Like back in the day in the 40s and 50s, call your grandparents. They'll say, yeah, we should have bought more property. That's one thing they're going to say if you were to ask them, what do you wish you did? And number two, they're like, we should have got rid of this house and travel more. We're having a great time. Right? And then next, if you think about the 76 million millennials, they don't, I mean, like people are waiting longer now to have kids. And the ones that are younger that have kids, they're priced out of houses. I think the average house in the United States is ranging anywhere from, and I know this is crazy, $25,000 to $350,000. That's the average purchase of a home. So most people that are younger now, the younger population, they're working longer, they're staying in college or they're graduating college, they got a business, they got a young family. Dude, they're not trying to go do this. As a matter of fact, that's cheap. And you know that. We live in California. I used to live in Hawaii. Even if you're in Texas, this is nice stuff. But I would say the middle income, the middle run, what everybody really wants is $1 million house. You're going to need $200,000 to put down, at least 20%, right? You're going to finance $800K on this. And right now, the rates, if you're watching this stuff, and I know I'm going fast, man. I just get pumped about this because I want you guys to see this for yourself. Aside from all this, let's just say your rate's 6%, right, on the average, because you put down 20%. You're going to be paying roughly about $4,800 a month, right? That's not including your homeowners association, which would be another $500 a month, right? And like just your insurance, your taxes and stuff. All that stuff's going to go up. Every year, your taxes are probably going to go up by 1% to 2%, no matter what. You're always going to be stuck in this house, and millennials know that. They're like, dude, we don't want to deal with that. If we were to get a nice place to rent in a multifamily property like the ones we're talking about institutional quality with a multi-million-dollar pool, business center, all of the amenities, a great gym, like an actual fitness facility with all the amenities that go along with that. That's really where people are going. So the older population and the younger population are all what's called now, it's called renters by choice. In the past, people rented because they have to. Now people rent because they want to. That's just kind of where things are going. So when you think through multifamily real estate, talk about multifamily real estate, this is the wealth creator. This is the one that's the easiest to do because out of all those other ones, office, retail, warehouse, and industrial, they're all doing good. I forgot one, as a matter of fact. Right now, AI centers or AI power centers, which are basically just warehouses. They're basically just big warehouses. That's it. AI power centers. That's a big investment thing, but that's for institutions. That's for the Blackstone, BlackRock, Starwood Capital, KKR. All of them are rushing to that. A lot of institutional investor capital is going towards those things. The average everyday retail investor, we can't play that game all the time. We don't have billions of dollars to sink inside of that. This is the simplest and easiest game. One to get into because it's simple to understand. It is a what's the word? Oh man. It is the most sophisticated yet simple institutional investment. The reason why I say it's institutional, so you guys getting it. I hope I'm not going over anybody's head. Because multifamily, you know who invests in multifamily the most? Insurance companies, pension funds, and endowments. And endowment funds. These are one of the biggest ones. Matter of fact, for example, like Prudential, one of the largest life insurance companies on the planet, owns primarily the bulk of their real estate through multifamily. Pension funds, CalPERS, I think they're a $400 billion pension fund. They invest in multifamily as an institution. Harvard Endowment Fund, $58 billion invest in multifamily real estate. Why are all of these institutional investors investing in multifamily the same way we look at the same deals they look at? Matter of fact, we looked at a deal the other day owned by an insurance company that was trading out. So like I look at stuff big enough, same assets they buy, but it's easy for a regular everyday person to understand those things, man. That's why I love this stuff, right? That's why I said that. And I went through why I believe multifamily is better than a house. Number one, because a house is a liability. You have to pay for it. Let's look at it this way. What would you rather own? You're going to take your money that you worked your ass off for, your money. Would you rather put it in a house, one family, probably you, right? One house, might have a wife. Boom, you got some kids, some little crumb snatchers taking money. You work all that time, you put it in the house. Does not pay you back. Or would you rather take your money that's sitting as an investment and you're going to put it into a building, right? Those are supposed to be windows, man. It's a terrible drawing. But I'm doing this for a purpose. For a purpose. Let's say there's 100 units in here. Now you got 100 people paying you $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month. Every 12, all year. This will happen. This happens all the time. This right here, if you can't pay, this goes away. Right away. If one person can't pay, no problem. Matter of fact, if this was 100 units, you could probably get to the part where 20 people don't pay. And it's still able to pay the taxes, the insurance, the management company, and the expenses. That's the difference. When I try to explain to people, look, it's better to go bigger. When you go in multifamily real estate, I know somebody's going to say, look, get a fourplex, get a duplex, get a triplex. That's not multifamily investing. That is residential multifamily, but I'm talking about big, cool stuff. That's why I always tell people, and I know I get excited, man. I do. But the purpose of all this stuff is to share with you why multifamily is better. Number one than all those other real estate pieces to me, right? Kind of talked about that. Office lags. Retail, you got to be in it, and you can't keep up with inflation with retail. You can pass on all those expenses to people, but in the end, your lease on a retail building, even if you have multiple ones, is 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. You can't keep up over time. You have to always go back and renegotiate, right? That's a huge thing. I've had a retail building. It was a nightmare when I lost a tenant. I lost the other tenants because of it. It sucked because who had to cover that expense was me as the landlord. But in my multifamily property, never the same thing. My residential houses, when I was doing more residential houses, and I'm talking to people who are considered just buying a house for themselves and letting them know, dude, a house is not an investment, it's a liability for you. But even as a business, when my houses were vacant, I had to pay on them. So I was always trying to sell, cycle out of money. It turned into transition. Thinking I'm going to make money, didn't. Thinking I'm going to make money, didn't. Then when I made some money, I had to go back and do it all over again and then start all over. Dude, that was a nightmare. When I had a multifamily property, we had tenants, 10 tenants, 20 units, 17 units, 20 units, 27 units, 40 units. Over time, when I did all this stuff, dude, I didn't have to worry if I lost a tenant. I made more money in one deal than I ever did on owning a bunch of homes, right? So that was my lesson. And I just stopped doing it. I was like, dude, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to focus on multifamily investing, putting my money, I want my family's money to be in multifamily. That's why a lot of times when people are asking me about any of this stuff, I'm like, dude, one, you have to believe and be almost 100% convinced that if you're going to play the real estate investing game, you're going to take your hard-earned money and you're going to invest it in something, you got to know it. And you got to know, you have to know why you're putting your money there, right? Multifamily investments, right off the bat, you can double or triple your money in 7 to 10 years. It's safe, right? That's what I like about it. The last thing I'll go over is this. Usually I would have went over questions by now. I did have questions from last night that I'll go over that I thought was interesting. And I noticed something. There's two different types of groups. There's people with, like one guy I talked to last night, he had $1.5 million liquid or $1.2 million liquid, plus he had some equity in some multifamily in a couple of properties. He was like, hey, should I sell the other ones that I have? I have $3 million in equity. And then in the $3 million in equity, he also had $1.2 million liquid. And I was explaining to him, look, you know what? Let's just take the $3 million. And with leverage in multifamily real estate, because it's cash flowing already, you want to buy the right deal. $3 million will buy you $9 million worth of real estate. And if you just take that alone, even though he has the $3 million worth of equity, what he was focused on was the equity piece that he was like, man, should I sell it? Should I just keep them? And I'm like, well, you can refinance them depending on where you are in those deals. Take out at least half of your equity, then you have $1 million, or you can sell them all. Don't worry about it. That $3 million buys you $9 million worth of real estate. And then once you have your $9 million worth of real estate, you can keep going. And I said all that to say, here's the problem. When people have money, like when you have no money, no problems. The struggle becomes, I need money. But when you have money sitting, when you're like, dude, I got $1.5 million in the bank, I got $3 million in these properties. The biggest problem for him was he was tired of managing all those tenants. He was like, dude, I'm tired, but I got to do something with the money. So the first problem, I have no money. I need to go hustle up money. I need to do something. Second problem, I have money. I don't want to lose my money, which goes back to why I like multifamily real estate. Number one, because it lets you preserve capital. Capital preservation. Don't lose money. Don't lose money. That's the rule number one. Every deal we look at for our fund is a big deal based on scale. Like how many units are you looking at? 200 units, 225 units, 400 units. Every deal we look at is always big. Why? Because the thought process is this, is we start to invest money in a deal as a fund manager, my investors, because my investors are partners. The first goal for them, knowing that, the concern of theirs, they work their butt off for money. That the worst thing comes to, I don't want to lose it. Man, I'm probably more conservative than they are. I don't want to lose money either. So I'm always leery about me telling somebody my stance on what they should do, because I'm just going to tell them about doing something that actually doesn't remove the risk. All investments has risk. We're in the big boy game. If you want to make millions of dollars or become a billionaire like me or have billions of dollars worth of real estate, there is risk. But the real risk is doing nothing, right? And then leaving your money where it sits. And trust me, your money will go down if it's sitting. So number one thing is like, don't lose money, dude. Number two, cash flow. It has to cash flow. You got to cash flow right away, because if there's cash flow, you can weather any economic storm, period. And the more units you have, the more cash flow you have coming in, the more it moves away the risk. If you have a 10% vacancy in 200 units, you only down 20 doors. Your property's still going to function. But if you have a 20 unit property and you lose 10%, that's two people. Promise you, that's going to be your cash flow. You're like, man, what do I do? I can barely pay the bills in my mortgage. Like, that's the game. You got to go scale. The problem is, too, if you're trying to do it by yourself and you're only buying a 20, 30, 40 unit deal, you need to invest with other people. It's the same thing as owning a 40 unit deal, but your position is the same in a 200 unit deal. So, number three. I know I'm going through this fast, man. I just get excited about this. All right, number three, you want appreciation. What does appreciation mean? Everyone gets by this. This is equity. You want future equity. Equity increase, appreciation, future appreciation. The value of your multifamily property goes up. Why? Because we can raise rents. We can raise rents anywhere from $50, $75, $100, $200, some cases $300 over time. Right? You want appreciation and future equity in an asset that's going up in value, because you're able to increase the income. And in multifamily properties, you're just increasing the rent. No one's going to move out for $50, $75 not going to do it. They won't even move out for $100. Matter of fact, if you find a great property, $200 increase, people are like, good, I'm happy. I don't want to leave. It costs me more to leave. This is the difference. One, you need a great location and you need a great asset. But this is why this is important, though. Because in multifamily properties, you can keep up with inflation, because you can keep up through appreciation, by forcing appreciation, by raising the rent slowly but surely. You can ride appreciation. You can ride the wave of inflation on your rents. And number four, what I like, is you got the tax benefits. You got the tax benefits. That's number four. These are the four things I look at when I'm thinking through investing money. Raising money with my partners. What are they looking for? What do they need? The tax benefits. If you get your cash flow from your properties, You get all the tax benefits of being an owner in a multifamily real estate deal. You get it from other assets too, but this one is the easiest to understand as it relates to multifamily is concerned. Could you possibly lose money in a house? Yes. The neighbor could sell their house for less than yours because they owe less, and that is the new comp. The comps in multifamily property are based on the income of the property. It's not based on the value of the property is based on income. It's not based on whether I sell my property for less. It doesn't work like that. The cash flow from your house. Could you lose cash flow in a single family house that you bought as an investment? Absolutely. I sat next to a guy last night that was frustrated because he bought a property on a fix and flip. He was sitting on the couch, got off the phone, and he was dozing off going to sleep because he was like, dude, I just need a break for a minute. I fixed up this property. It's a single family house. I thought it was going to rent sooner, and it's not. I'm just frustrated. I need a minute. And I was like, dude, I get it. I don't get it, but this is what I tell you guys. This is the secret of people who do real estate on their own, who buy the story that, hey, man, this is easy. You're just going to get a rental house, rent it out, no worries. You may do that once or twice, but at some point, you're going to be responsible for it. You're going to deal with the tenants, the toilets, the termites. You can't even hire a professional manager. There's just not enough money there. That's what was going on. So, again, risk. Does a single-family house cash flow? It can if you want $200-$300 only with all the headaches. No, man, that's not cash flow, dude. That's not an investment. That's a nightmare. Next, yeah, it could go up in value. It could appreciate. Your neighbor could sell for higher. You might have done that. Like those things do happen in single-family houses, but you can't bet on that. You can bet on that on multifamily. Rents in this country have continued to double every 10 years or so. As a matter of fact, if you look at rents from 1945 till now, they've consistently went up anywhere from 8 to 9%. 8 to 9%. It has beat the S&P 500 over and over again, but people don't talk about that. And the tax benefits, real estate itself, it feels like the tax code was written for people who own real estate. Now I'm talking about big commercial level real estate that is like business sized. It has an income. It has expenses. It can get good debt, right? Because you get good debt on these things. But these are the things that I like to talk about why, again, could you get all this stuff from the other ones? Yeah. But I don't want to deal with the headaches of not knowing what's going to happen. I know someone's always going to need a place. And if your location of your multifamily asset is great, you have an A location and an A property, you will always be able to hit these metrics. So when I'm thinking about investing money, my investors' money, my partner's money, my family's money, this is what I go through. At least check these boxes. There's others. I'll go through them, but not today. So anyways, I hope that helps you guys in today's first show. And again, this only went this way because I get excited. I had some questions. Oh, I'm going to answer the questions real fast. That guy's question last night, he wanted me to ask on the show. He couldn't call in. We had somebody else that texted as well, but this kind of a roll it up. If you have equity in a house, should you sell it right now? Right now, probably not. I would probably wait until the rates comes down, because if the rates come down and you're in the market and more people can buy that property, you'll get more money out of that. So if you've already weathered this storm, just wait until the rates come down so you have more buyers, so you can raise the value, raise the property price so you can sell. Then the next question for them, this guy, was, should I 1031? If you're going to invest in my fund, someone like me, no, you can't 1031 into it. Now, you could pay your taxes. If it's long-term capital gains, you're not going to pay as much money in taxes. But I'll be honest with you, I've sold properties in the past. I've just paid my taxes and then I rolled into a good deal. I don't want the noose around my neck from having to do a 1031 exchange into a different property because I got to identify, then I got this amount of time to close and all that stuff. Sometimes it's just better to pay your taxes, invest in a deal that's going to pay you the returns that you would have got anyways over time. You're going to make up whatever you paid. Everybody has to pay their taxes at some point. All right. So that was the answer to that question. So, and then last but not least, the other one was like, should they do this by themselves? My question is always the same. My answer is always the same to that. You will always make more money with partners doing a deal than trying to do it yourself. It is better to get, instead of own the whole thing, I'd rather own a piece of a bigger thing so I can actually get the benefit of the bigger thing. Let's say we go off because we're gonna pick up a 220 unit apartment building and you were gonna buy a 10 unit apartment building or a 30 unit apartment building or whatever. My 220 unit apartment building in the future will always be worth more money. I promise you. It'll double in value, or at least the equity we had in it will double. Yours will not. Why? Because I got scale. I'm going to get better debt. I'm going to get more professional management. I'm going to negotiate really hard on fees and stuff like that with the financing and stuff. I'm gonna get a better cost for my contract services. I'm gonna have a better quality team on the ground. Even my management company's gonna be better because I have scale, right? And like, there's a different thing. You cannot do that when you're in smaller properties, and you can't do it if you're just operating as a lone soldier. Like, I'm building an organization, a finance department, investor relations, an acquisitions team, right? I have professional people on my team. I got professional brokers sending us 50, 70, 100, $200 million real estate deals. You don't get access to that stuff if you try to do it by yourself, and you don't get access to that stuff if you aren't willing to invest with other people. The easiest way to get access to those deals is to invest in a group of people investing in those deals, and it protects you, right? You get all the benefits of being an owner, you get all the benefits of the tax benefits, you get the appreciation, you get your percentage of cash flow, and you get the benefit of capital preservation because the deal's so big, man. It's hard to lose money in these big deals. It's easier to lose money in a $4 million deal than it is to lose money in a $40 million deal or a $400 million deal. It just is, man. It's reverse. It's the opposite of the way people think as it relates to investing in multifamily assets the way that we're looking at. So, man, I hope this helped you guys today. I love doing these shows. I can actually talk about real estate for days and days and days and days, which I have. I'm moving this out of the way. If you guys have questions, put them in comments. Do me a huge favor, guys. I'm going to be doing this quite a bit. I'm going to do one a week, every Wednesday, 12 p.m. The team is going to be helping me a lot more right now. I'm just committed to this thing, so we're kind of lining a lot of stuff up that'll be helping, doing a lot of things. But if you have questions, put them in the comments. If you watch this in the future and you like this video, share it, comment on it, subscribe to the channel. I love to hear you guys' feedback. I really do want to help. I want to share what I know, my experience. If I don't know, I'll find out. Like I said, I don't know everything. I know about 90% of the things there is to know. If you want to invest with us or find out what that looks like, go to bell-capital.com, hit the link there. You can either hit invest now or get started. You can, if you're accredited, you can only be accredited. If you're not accredited yet, just leave me a comment or shoot me a message that says not accredited but interested, and then we'll make sure to follow up with you and put you on the list, because we will be doing something for non-accredited people in a fund in the future coming up here soon. Don't know if I'll get approved, but that's the goal for you guys. So, but yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of the things that the time that you spend with me. I don't take it lightly, man. I want to do business with you. Our goal is to help at least 1,000 investors over the next 18 to 24 months get invested in institutional quality real estate with us. You owe it to your family. I believe in you. I believe in your family. I believe in my family. And I'm building a company that helps you guys do that. The everyday investors need this stuff. The same stuff that institutions, banks, insurance companies, endowments, the same assets they get, you should be investing in too, right? They don't help the little guy. They don't want to spend, I don't know, how long has I been on this thing? I can't even tell. Like, those CEOs and founders are not going to spend this amount of time educating you on why they do what they do, why they pick this deal, why this market. Let me bring you behind the scenes and show you some of the deals we're working right now. And if you're interested in it, they're not doing that. I want to do that. I just took a look around. I was like, man, who's the top of the food chain? What don't they do that I'm willing to do? Buy the same assets, but do it with the everyday investors like you guys. I want to help. I want to change how investing in real estate is done with Bell Capital. That's the goal. All right, so I appreciate you guys. Have a great day today. I'll see you guys in the real estate show next Wednesday. Monday, I have a show called In the Zone with Victor Bell, and I go over all things money, finance, and investing. Again, I'm always going to talk about finance and money and how to help you and your family win. All right, you guys have a great day today, and let's get after it. Let me know if you need anything in the comments.